524. Ghastly Roommate, Edenemy, Chapter 7. Insert joke about libraries here. Notes. See the end of the chapter for notes. Chapter text. Yuichi hated libraries. He had never enjoyed reading much, and trying to read books in English, his second language, just solidified that hatred. He'd much rather work out math problems. That was something he understood in any language. Anyway, back to libraries. Yuichi always thought of them as dark, cramped places. So when his friend, Kitsune, suggested checking the New York Public Library for books on necromancy, he was not thrilled. Yuichi didn't tell Leo what he was doing. He didn't know how the ghost would react, and he kind of wanted to surprise him, if he could get through this miserable library experience. So, this human library is going to have books on necromancy, Yuichi asked. He and Kitsune were standing in front of a large, Romanesque-looking building, with the words Public Library in giant letters above the entrance. I feel like I've seen this place in an anime before. Something about fish eating bananas. Kitsune rolled her eyes. She had a green hoodie pulled low over her head to hide her fox ears, and was wearing a black sanitary mask. No, dumb bunny, you're not gonna find that kind of book here. Then what the hell are we doing here in broad daylight? Yuichi pulled his own hood further over his face. Someone's gonna notice us. We should have bought cloaking brooches. Those are too expensive. Kitsune waved her hand. Besides, we only need to find one book here, Yuichi huffed. Let's go, then. Kitsune swiped her library card as they walked in the door, and then beelined toward the geology section. Hey, Kitsune, Yuichi said once he caught up to her. This is geology. We're looking for necromancy. The fox gave him a sly smile, oof bad joke, sorry, and pulled a book from the shelf. When she opened it, the book grew 10 times its original size. The pages sharpened to look like teeth, and the silk bookmark became its tongue. Oh, Kitsune, Yuichi started to back up, but his friend yanked him back, and the book swallowed them whole. Immediately after, they were spat out again. This time, in a completely different location. Yuichi was too dizzy from the brief book digestion to say anything, but looking around, he saw the thousands of gigantic bookshelves, all filled to bursting, and deduced that they were still, in fact, in a library. Mother Fu, SSH. The command came from atop a large purple square pillar. Looking up, Yuichi realized that the pillar was actually a desk, and sitting atop it was a middle-aged female bat yokai. Library voice, she chided sweetly. Apologies for my illiterate coworker, Miss Bat, Kitsune said sweetly. Hey, I'm not. Yuichi's protest was cut short by a sharp glare from his friend. Kitsune continued. We were just looking for a book on necromancy, and we're wondering if your library had anything like that. The librarian smiled sweetly at the fox. Why, of course, Kitsune dear. The library catalog is right over there. She pointed to their right. Make sure your little rabbit friend stays quiet. My bats are watching. Yuichi looked up, and hanging on the bottom of a platform was a colony of giant mutant bats. Their orange, lamp-like eyes fixed on the rabbit. He won't cause any trouble, Kitsune assured the librarian. Yuichi gave a nervous thumbs up, still staring at the bats. Kitsune tugged on his arm. Come on, let's go. The library catalog was a large crystal ball that you had to shake to find the book you were looking for. As Kitsune shook the ball, Yuichi scanned the building with his eyes. As mentioned before, he hated libraries, and this one was not helping to change those feelings. For one thing, it was terrifyingly huge. Floor-to-ceiling bookshelves lined every wall. At least, Yuichi assumed they were floor-to-ceiling, since he could see neither, as the library was just that tall. Another thing, the stairs moved, and so did the bookshelves. He had no idea how the library catalog was even supposed to help with everything constantly changing locations. Also, there were ghosts, like, everywhere. None had noticed that Yuichi could see them yet, but he didn't want to stick around until they did. Nerd ghosts always ask such invasive questions to mediums. All good, Yuichi? Kitsune asked. She must have noticed his nervousness. Yeah, Yuichi whispered. Is it the, thing? She was referring to his medium abilities. He told her about them so she would understand his asking for a necromancy book. Yuichi nodded. There's so many. Kitsune furrowed her brows. Well, then we better find that book fast, she decided. This way. Yuichi didn't pay much attention to where they were walking. He heard his friend mumble something about turning left at an ibis tapestry, but otherwise just let her drag him along. He studied the ghosts as they walked through the library. Nearly all of them were yokai, though a few confused humans wandered around. Yuichi remembered that ghosts often latched onto places they visited a lot when they were alive. That could be the reasoning for some of the ghosts to stay at the library. He also remembered, however, that ghosts normally couldn't pass on until they fulfilled their unfinished business. He'd never considered where those who didn't know how to succeed in fulfilling that business ended up. But now, he knew. People look for knowledge in libraries. It would make sense that ghosts would too. But what did those ghosts do when they realized they couldn't pick up any books to read? Here we are, Kitsune announced in a whisper. She grabbed a book off the shelf, a navy blue leather bound with gold lettering for the title. Necromancy for Dummies, she read. The perfect book for you? Yuichi ignored her insult and took the book from her hands. The actual title was Necromancy, a simple guide to raising the dead. He thumbed through the book, trying to find the page he needed. So, who's the guy you're trying to date? I mean raise from the dead again? Kitsune asked. I'm not trying to date him, Kitsune, Yuichi protested. I'm just trying to get him back to his family. Kitsune nodded. Sure, and then you're gonna kiss him. He stepped on her tail. Ow. Hey, not cool. Those bats are still watching us. Anyway, who is he? His name's Leo, Yuichi said, and continued flipping through the book. Finally, he found the page he needed, bringing ghosts back to life. He took a while reading the directions, so Kitsune asked, how long does it take you to read one page, dude? Shut up, English is my second language. What's your first one? Dumbassery. He elbowed her. No, Japanese. Now, let me read. The book said that Yuichi would need 3 ingredients as well as a powerful mystic mage. The first ingredient was a witch's cauldron. The second, an item the person you were resurrecting was attached to during their lifetime. The third, what's a keystone? Kitsune asked. Yuichi shrugged. I wish this book had pictures, he sighed. I don't even know where to get a witch's cauldron. Kitsune looked at him like he was an idiot. What? Dude, she said. Which town? He gave her a puzzled look. Oh, my. Spirits of the stars. You don't know which town? I just moved here. Like, 2 years ago, Yuichi defended himself. Kitsune groaned. Boy, we need to get you out more. How they ended up getting out of the library, Yuichi didn't know. But soon enough they were walking along the hidden city roads. A picture of the necromancy direction page in his camera roll, and the sign for which town in the distance. Notes. Sorry about the lack of Leo lol, he might be in the next chapter, I haven't decided yet. Y'all should follow my socials. Insta, @Edenemy Art. Tumblr, @Edenemy Art. TikTok, @KilluaFrogs.